besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button, click that like. You just gained a new best friend. Hey besties, I know it's been about 3 weeks since I've talked to you guys, but hey, I'm here to give you an update. So I'm going to update you guys with what has been going on since I've been in school this past 3 weeks, as well as whether or not I passed my first midterm. If you want to find out that information, stick around. Let's get into it. Okay, besties, let's get into what a typical day is like at USU. Okay, so we have pre-recorded lectures, about 4 to 5 lectures a day to go over. They can range from 20 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes. I usually watch my lectures between 1.25 to 1.75. It depends on how well I know that topic. But the first initial go around, I will watch them at a slower pace, like 1.25, so I can make sure that I'm picking up the information. So you have your 4 to 5 pre-recorded lectures. Now sometimes they do have optional to where you can go to the lectures that are already pre-recorded, so that way you can ask questions if you feel necessary. On Tuesdays we had our histology lab, definitely interesting. They would give you the lecture to review prior to the lab, and then the lab kind of solidified the information. So definitely enjoyed histology lab. Won't say I'm the greatest. I'm still trying to figure out some of the things because they definitely look different. Trying to figure out like epithelium cells and smooth muscle and all of that. So still in the midst, but I'm going to get better. I'm definitely going to get better at it. And then on Thursdays, we actually have our physical examination classes, and that's where we're learning how to do full body examinations. So far I've learned how to take blood pressure, respiratory, I've learned how to do a head examination, looking into the eyes, checking the ears, checking the nose, checking for the thyroid, as well as listening to the heart, checking the lungs, checking strength, as well as motor movements and reflexes. So each Thursday we go through a different body part until we eventually get through the semester and complete our full body examinations, which we will have an exam to do, which is just going through the motions of doing everything that they taught us. So that's super cool. Now within these last 3 weeks, I have been seeing patients. It's been so amazing. I think that's the highlight of this entire halfway through the module. It's just getting to interact with the patients, getting to get their HPI and get their previous medical history, and hearing their story. So it's been definitely a great experience to go over to Walter Reed, talk to these various patients about what brought them into the hospital initially, and get their viewpoint on what they feel as a future physician they would like to see. So that has really just been probably my favorite part. Within this last 3 weeks, I've also did a home visit, which I think that's super awesome that USU has collaborated with an organization that allows us to go to homes with children who have disabilities and talk to their parents and talk to those children and get their viewpoint and what they've been going throughout, whether it's been the military health system or the civilian health system, just to kind of see what they would expect, what they liked, what they didn't like, and take those key points and apply to our future practice in medicine. So definitely a great opportunity. I definitely enjoyed my family, so I appreciate that program. So let's see, now that we've kind of covered what typical days are like, let's kind of get into the ways I studied and prepared for the exam. So me personally, I don't like to read, okay? I'll let you guys know that now. I'm not huge on reading. I'm definitely that person that's going to seek out a video if it is available, okay? So what I did was each day I studied every single day, and I will warn you future medical students, because all of my besties are going to get accepted to medical school, okay? I will warn you, please go into this ready to study every single day. You cannot wait until the end to review all the material when you've been having 4 to 5 lectures every single day for 3 weeks. It's just not even feasible. So study every single day. So the way I would do this, I'd watch the required lectures of that day, and then let's say the week before, I would watch the lectures of that day. So let's say today's Monday, I would watch Monday's lectures, and then I'd watch the previous Monday's lectures. So that way I'm getting a second pass of the information. So maybe if I miss some details, I'm picking those details up. I did not take any notes this first 3 weeks of the module, because honestly it's not even feasible. And just think about how often have you gone back to your notes to review them. So I haven't taken notes. My method of studying was just to make sure I studied every day, which was reviewing the lectures, and then if I didn't understand something, I would supplement it with either a Boards Beyond video, a USMLE RX video, or just simply logging on to YouTube and you know, finding something applicable to the subject at hand. And that really kind of solidified the information for me. I also dabbled with Anki. I was pretty solid with Anki for the first 2 weeks, but Anki can be toxic if you miss one day. So when I was like on it every single day, I'd have 200 to 300 cards. It was a late day where I went to a meeting at school, and I didn't get home until maybe about 9 o'clock. And I tried doing my Anki, but I ended up falling asleep with my phone in my hand. I woke up the next day with 636 cards to do. Excuse me, no. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna set Anki aside, and you know, we'll pick back up on Anki when it's applicable. Now, I am an advocate for Anki. I definitely think it's good. Now, I will caveat that and say, I think Anki is good if you know the information already and you've learned the information already. I don't feel like Anki is a primary tool to learn the information, because it's a memorization tool. So it's to help keep that information that you already learned in your memory bank. So if you are just starting off with a lecture, you don't really understand the information, getting into Anki can be a very toxic situation. So just take that into consideration. Like I said, everyone uses Anki differently. I definitely think it is a great tool. I'll definitely use it for things that I feel are 100% memorization points. However, going to it as my primary source is not something that I personally recommend. And once again, this is my opinion. But yes, take that how you want. Okay, so let's get into whether or not I passed my midterm. Drum roll, please. Yes, you know your girl passed the midterm. Come on now. I wouldn't be doing this video if I didn't pass midterm. I'd be studying, okay? So, yes, I did pass my midterm. I did actually really well. I was super surprised how well I did on the midterm. I went into the midterm feeling very comfortable. I felt like I covered all the subjects, and I thoroughly went over all the practice exams that they gave us at the end of the week, the practice quizzes, all the practice questions, all the interactive session questions. I went through all of those thoroughly, and I went back on subjects that I, was kind of shaky on to make sure I was good. So yes, your girl passed her midterm. When I left the exam, I still felt comfortable. The exam was all multiple choice, and we had about 95 questions covering the topics that I mentioned earlier. So was I scared? I wasn't necessarily scared. I was definitely nervous just because it was my first exam. I didn't really know what to expect. The way the questions are set up is, since this was an MBME style exam, it was set up where they would give us some type of explanation on what's going on, whether they talk about a patient, and then there'd be a certain point in that question where you'd have to pick up on what they're discussing or what they're talking about. So they're not like just direct questions like, what is a amino acid? It's definitely not that, right? You got to definitely think more thoroughly into some of the mechanisms and kind of, it's I wouldn't say it's third level thinking, but it's probably more so like a second tier thought process. Like, okay, you know this, you may know that with sickle cell, glutamine is being replaced with valine, but let's go a point further. Why is that an issue with sickle cell? So it's definitely, you're gonna have to know more than just the definition. You're gonna have to know the mechanism. You're gonna have to be able to kind of get yourself back to it. So like I said, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I definitely felt prepared when I walked into the exam. I felt like I passed when I walked out of the exam. We got so you get about 90 seconds per question. There's 95 questions, so it's maybe about 2 hours and some change. You get to take the exam. I had enough time to go back and review my questions, so I didn't feel rushed. I felt great. So I definitely plan to continue how I'm studying for the upcoming 3 exams I have coming up on October 8th. I don't really think I'm going to tweak anything for the rest of this module, just because Foundations module is a very interesting module because it's taking all of those core disciplines of sciences you should have did in your undergraduate and putting it in 7 weeks. So I don't personally think I'm going to switch anything. I'm going to continue to watch the video that's due that day and then the previous week's video on that day, review the histology slides, and continue the way I went because I didn't feel stressed out when it came to time to study for the exam. So just wish you girl luck on these 3 exams that I have coming up at the end of this module. I'll definitely be happy to get outside this module because I think the third-party supplementary sources that all of the upperclassmen have talked to us about are going to be more applicable in future modules. So I'm definitely excited to kind of get onto MSK. But yes, I'm going into week 5 of this module. I'll have 2 more weeks before the first module ends. So we're one step closer to becoming Dr. Russell. So that is my update so far. As far as my schedule goes, I study from Sunday to Friday. I take Friday afternoons off and I take Saturdays off. Please, please, please keep in mind that you need to keep your self-care up. I still work out. I hang out with my friends. I hang out with my boyfriend. I try to keep that balance. And it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a struggle, but you definitely have to be purposeful in your self-care so that you can maintain. Because I find when I go out on Saturday and enjoy my time, go to a movie, a spa day, or whatever, when I come back on Sunday, I feel refreshed and I feel like I can, give my 100% at this information and curriculum. So definitely make sure that you purposely include self-care, time to get away from the information where you don't think about it, so that you can excel, because it's definitely a balance. If you're studying and grinding and looking at this information, this complex systems of information every single day and not giving your brain a break, you will crash quick. And medical school is a marathon, okay? So if you have any questions, besties, please, please, please reach out to me. I'm super excited about those of you that's going into interview season. I did have some requests to get some interview tips, so please reach out. Shoot me a DM in my Instagram at becoming.dr.russell. If you need any advice or if you would like to do a mock interview, I'm totally here for that. Once again, I want you guys to succeed here, okay? I'm looking forward to all my besties getting accepted to medical school and getting those acceptance letters. So please reach out if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for, okay? I haven't forgot how the process works. I was literally there a year ago. It goes by fast, and having someone who already went through it definitely helps in the process. So I will see you guys after I finish the final, which is October 8th. I'll discuss with you guys, how that went, what my study methods were, what happened in these next 2 weeks. And then we'll also discuss how we're going to get somewhat of a little break to go off and be patient for the Bushmaster experience for the 4th year. So stay tuned to that. Thank you guys for rocking with me, and I hope you guys have a great day.